So the other night I was on, I think it was day 3 of about 2 hours of sleep each night.
Mm.
So 6 hours over 3 days. It was it was it
It
was
was not pretty.
it was interesting. It sure was interesting.
Oh.
And I made, spaghetti for my family because, number 1, it's good, and number 2, it's really easy to make. And so I made spaghetti, and so everyone sits down and they they start slurping. Okay. And oh, by the way, we also had, like, a side salad, so they're, like, crunching, and they got the croutons going and the slurping, and I walked over I got up and I walked over to my phone, and I turned on, worship music, and Josh goes, "Oh, how nice, you wanted to play some music during dinner," and I was like, "Well, actually, right now, I'm not my best self, so I think I might lose it if I hear one more slurp." So, I I just recognize that when I don't have sleep or, when I'm so anxious and I don't get
Mhm,
sleep, that's kinda my breaking
Mhm.
point. But, the worship music helped. It
mhm.
definitely it definitely did help. So,
Mhm.
are there times where you guys, get so overwhelmed, and you can, like, feel it rising? We
Rising.
talked about
Mhm,
Mercury rising. Um,
mhm,
you can feel it rising in you. Are there, like,
Mhm.
times or things that trigger you, like
mhm.
slurping?
Yeah, I think when it's I have, like, way too much on my plate to
Mm,
accomplish,
Mhm.
and I think I notice that I become snappy, I
mm,
feel overwhelmed, I need everything to be put away, like, I need the counters cleared,
yeah,
the
yeah.
floors
Mhm.
cleared, like, when I start noticing that I'm, like, losing my cool about the kitchen table, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, I'm overwhelmed." I'm like, "This isn't like a reality. This is like me, a little overstimulated."
Mhm. Mhm. I think y'all just described me. I do both of those, lack of sleep, feeling overwhelmed. But one of the things that I have noticed that I get really short of patience and snappy, like you were saying, Katie. And I remember when I started noticing this is when we first started teleworking. And
Mm,
I used to would have a drive, 15-minute or so drive from when I saw my last client until I got home. And I'd have that time to kind of decompress, process
Mhm,
in my brain, let go of things. But when I started teleworking, I no longer had that. So as soon as I came out of my office, your dad was just trying to be nice and loving, and he would start asking me questions, and it felt to me like it was rapid fire questions.
mhm.
And I finally just lost it and said, I can't answer all these questions. So now, I kind of um, come into a good balance of when he comes out. Now he just kind of sits there quietly and watches me. And does this measurement of, "Oh, when should I say something? What should
Mhm,
I say?" But yeah, that lack of patience,
mhm.
I also start sometimes getting headaches. I have a little brain fog and start getting headaches. Yeah.
I know, right? I feel like when I am past where if we think about, like, the window of tolerance, and if I've been
Mhm.
riding my hyper arousal
mhm,
for too long, I notice that I get stomach aches,
Mhm.
don't feel well, feel itchy, and have those headaches, and it's just interesting how that kind of stress can really become like a somatic nervous system experience.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say it's funny because it's obviously exactly what's happening. It's not funny at
Right.
all. It's like,
Right.
this is what happens when you're riding in that high edge of deregulation for an extended period of time. I don't
Mhm.
think we were supposed to go to fight or flight over kitchen counters. I think that's something we've got to I work on all the time. In fact, one of the biggest flexes I feel like from the past year is like the ability that I've been letting my house be cluttered, cuz it's like everybody who knows me knows, like, I don't keep stuff around that we don't need, and
That's right.
it's mostly just, like, to keep my safety, like, that sense of safety,
Mhm.
and I just feel like this past year as I've worked on regulating and staying in my window of tolerance, it's like, I'm so proud of myself when I'm like, "Oh, the mudroom's a disaster." I'm literally, like,
Mhm.
so proud of myself when something's disorganized or, like, right now there's literally a giant box on the kitchen counter, and I was like, "I'll get to it later." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what a victory." I'm not even
Well,
stressed about it.
yeah, yeah, that's
Mhm.
awesome. I think that these signals oh, were you gonna say one, Jen?
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, um, before we go any further, if you guys are liking this, if you're saying, "Yep, this is exactly me," go ahead, like and subscribe now. It helps us reach more people so they can hear these conversations too. So, go
Yes,
ahead. What
that's
were you gonna
great.
say?
That is great. I think these signals that we're talking about, the, headaches or the
Mm.
irritability, the, you know, feeling short and
Who's
patient with
who's
people.
irritable?
Yeah, that. I think those are signals from God because He doesn't want us to live outside of our window of
Mhm.
tolerance, like you were talking about, Katie. He wants us to live inside where we're managing these
Mhm,
things. And so these signals are really important for us to talk about
mhm,
and understand ourselves what's going
mhm.
on.
Yeah, and I
And
think what I've learned over the past few years is those signals were telling me that I wasn't resting and that I thought I
Mhm.
was just doing way too much
Right.
and never taking a break. And just the journey of healing over the past year, it's really shown me that, and I almost feel like
Mhm.
so I was talking to my husband about that this weekend, like, I feel so repulsed right now at the idea of being anxious and, like, having to, like, "Go, go, go," like, fire on all cylinders. I'm like, I don't think my body was made to fire on all cylinders," and I think I'm, like, actively recovering from 8 years of thinking I had to, like, run a marathon every single day, and I'm just, like, so resistant to it, like, any like, today I had to
Mhm.
go I went to work out, I had an appointment, I went to the post office, I had to take the babysitter home, went to the library, I had to come home, make lunch, do homeschool, and, and be here, and I'm happy for all of those things, but I had to pray about it last night because I was like, "I can do it, God, I can do it," from a place of, like, not being stressed and anxious,
Mhm.
which is just in the past, I would have been so overwhelmed with that it's like, "Okay, I can kind of find that balance in the middle of, like, how to not be super stressed and overwhelmed and living in, like, nervous system deregulation. I can figure out how to not do that, you know, even on days where I've got a lot going on.
Yeah. But it took that year. It
Yeah.
took that year to get to the place where you knew yourself
Oh,
and you
yeah.
understood what was going on. You understood you had to practice and find your limits
Yeah.
in this last year
Mhm.
so you could get to this place of, "Oh, okay, I've got all those things that I have to get done, but I can do it
Yeah,
from a place of."
without getting sick, without getting to
Yeah.
that place where I'm not managing well, and I think a lot of moms, they're looking at, like, the anxiety that they're feeling in their body, they're looking at their
Mhm.
overstimulation and their burnout, and, how many moms have you guys talked to that are asking you about cortisol, and I think what we're
Right.
all feeling is extreme burnout and lack of rest.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And I don't
Jennifer,
know,
you know a thing or 2 about extreme burnout and lack of rest. Talk to me, sister.
mm, I don't know what you're talking about. But I was trying to pinpoint, like, as I was thinking through this episode, I was trying to pinpoint of, like, when this was, but I feel like I've always felt like rest equals laziness. And I
Mhm.
don't know where that came from. Like, I don't remember our parents telling us that. Um,
I probably modeled
It's
that
that
interesting
gets
though,
so
because
weird.
I feel the same way. Sometimes, like, Finn will come home and I'll be reading a book, and I will have to
Jump up.
fight the desire to, like, close it and put it away and, like,
Mhm.
go be in the kitchen, and I'm just like, "No, I'm not doing it anymore." Like, it's totally acceptable for me to rest.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yes.
know. I do know that. And okay, I can like hear myself saying, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Um, but I also feel like there are these expectations that are placed on us that we always need to be doing something.
Mhm.
But then
Mhm.
recently, the big thing is you should rest, you should do that. And I'm like, yeah, 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 you're saying that, but like how?
Mhm.
Like how am I supposed to rest when I'm doing like we always need to be available and we all, we're just like working and parenting and like all these kind of
Mhm.
things. So it's just like, yeah, we say that. We say we want to rest and we say those things, but it's hard to put
I
that
think
into
you have to
action. You have to.
after my second born was born, I was having a really hard time bouncing back hormonally.
Mm,
And when I went and saw my naturopath, she just was like, she was so sweet. She like had me kind of tell her what my days were like. And then she was like, okay. She was like, you get to make a choice. You can come back in a few years in adrenal burnout, or
Right.
you can take some crap off your plate. And it was really hard for me to hear it. And I remember going inside and being like, well, what do I take off my plate? And
Mhm.
it being like almost impossible. But then when I did experience that adrenal crash after my third, it just got to the point where my hair is falling out. I can't sleep.
Mhm.
I'm struggling, in every way. My body's not doing well. And I think you have to make the hard choices of like, okay, but what really matters, you know?
Right. And it's hard to
yeah.
stop,
It's so hard.
because all these expectations, you've done it
Mhm.
for so long. People expect so much from you,
I think you're
and
nailing it.
it's hard to back off from that. It's hard to, back away from people
Mhm,
Yeah.
expecting these things. Like, I always had dinner on the table at
Mhm.
5 o'clock, right?
mhm.
I always, was this, or I always did
Sure,
that.
the house was
You
always
know.
clean, you were always at church, like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
always, always. And I think you're hitting the nail on the head because I know sometimes when I will even my sweet husband is used to me able to perform at a certain caliber, and so when I have to say things like, "I'm not doing that,"
Yeah.
like, it has been an interesting season to kinda be like even I tell him all the time, like, "I'm not gonna live my life frantic anymore." If it means we're an hour late to whatever we wanna do,
Mhm.
that's I'm not gonna, like, live that frantic life. And it
Yeah.
it has been, like, a little bit of a switch, though, in our minds. It used to be, like, we went out to our property yesterday, and, we used to, like, we'd set our alarms, wake up, "Get ready, go, 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 everybody's in the car," and then we're all stressed, we're all anxious, we're all
Mhm.
yelling at each other, and yesterday morning, I was like he started to get out of bed, and I was like, "I'm not getting out of bed until I hear a kid." And I, like, laid in bed and read, took a nice long shower. Yeah, we were out the door, like, 45 minutes later than maybe what we would have been if we had been acting
Mhm.
like crazy people, but I'm just like, "It's not worth it to me anymore." I know that's a
Mhm.
silly example because it was, like, a fun day of snow machining and whatever, but it was, like it ended up being, like, a really fun day because,
Right.
That's
like, we Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
Oh, I was gonna say that's interesting that you say that because, when we haven't gone since we've moved to Florida, obviously, but when we were going camping and stuff like that regularly, like, on the day that we're coming home, it was like a psycho, "Everybody get up at 8, everybody pack up,
Yeah.
everybody go clean up, clean up." Like, it was this, like, psycho, oh, pack up, and I'm like, "Why do we do that to ourselves?" Like,
Mhm.
what are
Mhm.
we hurrying back to? Like, laundry? Like, what
Yeah.
Yeah.
are we
I'm just
what
not
are we
I just don't wanna
hurrying.
live
Yeah,
that anymore, I'm
yeah,
totally
Mhm.
with you. It's like whatever. Let's just be calm. Let's teach our kids how
right,
to be calm. Because 'cause I'm with you. I don't know where that idea of, like, not resting came in. Because
right,
I don't
well,
remember, like, childhood having a lot we weren't, like, an overly active family. So I don't
this is true.
remember, like, where but I have it too. Maybe it's just conditioned from the world. Like, maybe if anybody's listening, tell us, do you
Yeah.
feel it too? Like, you can't
Well,
rest?
is it in the Bible that's what I've always heard was idle hands is a devil's workshop.
I'm gonna
So I'm
Google
not
it.
sure.
I don't
Yeah,
even know if
Google
that's
it.
in scripture.
Is it one of those things that you just grow up hearing?
Maybe.
Because maybe that's where we get a lot of
Could
that
be
are those
because
kind of sayings,
I
or maybe
do
it's scripture. I'm not sure.
I do get really frustrated when I'm, like, cleaning and, like, doing all this stuff around the house, and then I walk out and the kids are, like, doing nothing. And I'm like, "Your chores better be done now." But what does
So
it say?
maybe it comes from Proverbs 16:27, maybe. But the
Maybe.
commentary there says it's describing how a wicked or worthless person would actively seek out and plan evil.
Oh,
Oh.
So I
Mm,
think it's maybe a verse that is used in a way it
that's
wasn't
been
intended.
interpreted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I know that, you know, if we're talking about expectations and busyness and all, I think, the Proverbs 31 woman
Mm,
was always used to some degree as I would always feel like when it was presented
mm,
at, church or events, that it was almost like, guilt.
mm,
Like, I don't do any of those,
Like,
or
you don't measure up.
I don't
mhm.
measure up. I'm not as good as her. So maybe all these beliefs that really aren't
Mm,
God's intention that we have believed. I don't know.
I
yeah.
think you're right. I think, do you guys remember the late, great, wonderful Rachel Held Evans? She was such a
Mhm.
powerful person,
Mm,
theologian when I was up and coming in my faith. And then Sarah Bessey too. She does she does this like great breakdown on the Proverbs 31 woman, and it, like, changed my perspective, Mom, because it was talking about, um I'm gonna screw it up, so go look it up if you're interested, but basically, like, the phrasing is, translated to be a woman of valor, and the idea is, like, this woman is, like, kicking butt, you know?
mhm,
And, it always helped me kind of put that in perspective, like, she's basically any believing woman who's taking care of her stuff, you know? But I think you're
mhm,
right. We have all these, like, ingrained beliefs, like,
mhm.
I don't know where, because when I used to not like the Proverbs 31 woman either, because I had this idea that she was, like, meek and,
Yeah.
pregnant and barefoot and all those things. But, like, when you really read her, you're like, "Oh, man, she's
Right.
awesome."
Yeah, she
She's like a
served her
woman of
husband.
valor. Yeah.
Yeah, she served her husband, she served her children, she it was
She has her
almost
own business. She's helping out the
exactly.
financial bottom line of her house, like, she's
She
serving
was bought she
others.
was all sold into,
Yeah.
um, her family.
Mhm. Yeah, and I don't know, we do have these ingrained ideas, that
Mhm.
we can't rest, we have to
Yeah.
be super productive, but
Right.
maybe
Guilty.
they're all lies from the enemy that just want us to
Mhm.
be overwhelmed, overstimulated, deregulated, all those buzzwords.
Right, because I think we've said here that it causes our body to break down. Yeah, that's serious stuff.
But I
Yeah.
also think too, like, when you start realizing that, you need to relax, right? And you need to rest and you need to do those things, then you can start down this slippery slope of, like, healing or self-care. And that is like a full-time job just doing self-care. Like, I
Yeah,
Right.
don't know how
right?
people have time for, like, all of that stuff, like, to take care of themselves, like,
Mhm.
all the things that would heal you from your stress, like,
Yeah,
I
I don't know
yeah.
know.
how they have time for all that.
Well, I probably have a unpopular opinion of that. I think we've taken it too far,
Yeah.
actually. I think sometimes, I know for myself, I got to a place where it was like, well, if I didn't have the whole afternoon to do self-care, then I'm not perfect, or it's not
Mhm.
perfect, or I'm not doing it perfect, right? But I think sometimes we do take self-care, too
Too far.
far.
Right, and isn't it interesting what you just said? Because I think I have felt that way too, like, the guilt has permeated your self-care, and I don't know if we've taken
Yeah.
self-care too far or if our guilt and our desire to
Yeah.
do has just been infected our
Yeah.
self-care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I do.
because I used to feel like such a failure that I couldn't figure out how to work out. And it's just recently that that has become something that I can fit into my schedule with little kids. But the guilt would like override it. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so I think we've got to start from that place of like the pressure and the expectation we put on ourselves to whatever. And I think in every culture and place in America or wherever, you're gonna get that pressure a little differently. Like, I'm sure in Florida, what it means to be, like, a good mom or whatever looks different than Alaska, you know?
Mhm.
Because I feel that sometimes too, like, I haven't taken the kids outside this week, you know, and it's like, that pressure can be really overwhelming, but I think we need to, like, check our motives and check where that's coming
Mhm.
from, you know?
Yeah,
Like, are we
absolutely.
doing our self-care, like, for
Mhm.
ourselves, or are we taking care of ourself? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. That's kind of a
Yeah.
twisted wordplay.
No, but I like how you said that. That guilt, has permeated the self-care. No longer are we enjoying it. No
Yeah, like,
longer is it
are we
really.
doing our self-care
Yeah,
right, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, right,
It's no longer
exactly.
self-care,
Right.
What
right?
do you guys
You're
do to take care of yourself when you're if we think about that, like, riding really high, that overstimulation, like,
Mhm.
what do you guys do to
I
come back?
usually, um, shotgun a monster. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I
Um,
don't think you are.
You better
no,
not.
I would never shotgun it, but,
Oh.
um, I don't know. Recently, I've been trying to read more,
I love that.
and so, one of our fun things that we do, with the girls, we've gone a couple times, is we just go down to Barnes& and Noble and, pick out a couple books, and I got some books I'm liking right now, so it's nice. I don't feel like I've ever had time in my life to actually sit down and read.
Yeah,
And so this is a terrible confession, but I schedule it on my calendar.
that's not
Like as a
terrible.
task for me to do every day is to read 30 minutes. I mean, the kids also do that too, but yeah, I have to schedule it, otherwise it won't get done.
Mhm.
You know what, Jen? Like, when I went to therapy a few years ago, my therapist told me to do that. She said, "Schedule time on your to-do list to not do anything or do something that you like." And so I
Yeah.
think it's just like, how is the experience for you? Like, can you sit and read? Or
Most of the
do you get, like, pulled into everything?
It's mixed. I do get interrupted quite a bit,
Right.
but, it's getting better. I think because they've never seen me do anything like, they never see me sit down and read.
Yeah.
Um, so making time for it helps somewhat.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. I don't know, I've just always been the type of, like, what relaxes me is doing a killer job at work,
Yeah.
which I know that sounds probably nuts, but when
Yeah.
I'm, like, killing it at work, I don't know what that is, but it, like, I don't know,
It
makes me
feeds
relax, like,
you.
I don't know
Yeah.
or how or what or what.
Yeah. Obviously, it feeds you.
Yeah,
It makes you feel like you have a purpose or it
yeah,
fulfills your purpose, maybe your
yeah,
passion. I don't
so,
know.
I don't know,
Maybe
but
that's been, like, something so interesting to think about is, like, what works to or to regulate you might be different than what it works
Mhm.
for other people. Like, I cannot do a deep breathing exercise to save my life unless it's, like, accompanied with, like, hiking, or I will fall asleep, or I will just go off to dark, twisty places. Like, don't make me sit and, like, breathe. I can't do it.
I beat myself up because I go, "Oh, wait, I didn't
I
do
know.
that right. I gotta."
I know. I know.
But
Yeah.
I do know that when I am, maxed, that
Mhm.
taking some deep breaths,
Yeah.
getting the fight and flight to stop or to slow down in my body. I can feel my body coming back, but I can't sit down for an extent. I'm like you. I cannot
I
sit down for an
cannot do it.
extended. I cannot because
Mm-mm.
I think my I think the way God created me, I'm restless
I
most
know.
of the
I got too many tabs open. I
Yeah.
yeah.
cannot shut them all down.
Like, I don't have time to sit down and breathe. What do you mean?
I
I can
I
breathe
know.
while I'm doing this other 6 things, you know?
was reading some article or something. It says, like, for anxious people, they rewatch their shows, like, over and over and over again. That is me 100% with, like, Office
Yeah.
and Star
You know
Wars,
why?
because you already know what's gonna happen, so you
You
don't
Yeah,
already
it's
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
so
I think we're onto something with the recognition that rest might be a little bit of sacrifice. You might
yeah,
have to sacrifice some get up and go to take
yeah,
care of yourself a little bit.
mm,
And I think you also said something, Jennifer, that I think is really important. Like, and we've kind of played on it a little bit, but the people in our life kind of need to be trained or like
yeah,
retaught. Cause I think, like it's hard for my kids too when I'm taking a break reading
yeah,
that they kind of want me to kind of entertain them, and
mhm,
it's been kind of like a new thing in our family where it's like, well, I'm going to take a break and read. You can read next to me, you can color near me, you can play Barbies near me, but,
I
you
saw
know,
this meme I saw this meme that it was, hope I can get this right, but it was like, "Tell your kids that we all need to take quiet time, and as soon as quiet time is over, we're gonna get up and clean the house." And so they leave you alone, so you
my kids wouldn't believe me. I'm such a pushover. Yeah, but you're right, mom. We got to find ways to help people realize we're not invincible. We need a break. And
yeah,
sometimes I think it's about convincing ourselves because we've kind of played on it a bunch, but it's like those thoughts we tell ourselves about our worth, what we should be
yeah,
doing. Cause like sometimes, like even yesterday after a chill day, and, I still struggled with that thought at night, like, oh, did I do good enough? And it kind of stopped me for a minute because I was like, what's that measuring stick?
yeah,
Because like, Jesus isn't out there like measuring my successes and failures. In fact, when I'm at my lowest, he's there all the more, you know?
Mhm.
And it's just
Yeah,
interesting that I think I have to measure up, you know?
mhm. That's that
yeah,
comparison trap we get caught in. I think to add to that, Katie, is I think we have, like what we've talked about, I think we have to take time to understand our bodies,
Mm.
understand where our limits are. And, we think we know that because we've lived in our bodies all these
yeah,
years,
Mhm.
but, our bodies change, our limits change. And I think it's good. It's wise
Mhm.
to figure out where your point is. Where are you going to um, react, when your nervous system when is so dysregulated? Uh,
Mhm.
because
yeah,
mine isn't like yours. I mean, we have some similarities, but it's different, right? We're all
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah, and there's that grace there, like grace for yourself, but also I think grace for others. Cause like what might
Yeah.
overwhelm somebody might not overwhelm you and like vice versa. And
Mhm.
I think we can offer that grace to each other a little bit better than what we do,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. Well, I think you've always offered grace to me about the whole hiking thing.
What, that you
Because
don't go with me?
I know. Whenever you, whenever you say, "Well, we're gonna go hiking," I mean, I can feel the mercury rising. It's like, oh, well, I
Yeah,
guess
well,
I don't
that's
think
great,
I
right? It's good
will.
you know that about you because, like,
Yeah.
hiking is such a, like, amazing thing that God's given me.
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
know.
thankful my kids love to hike,
Mhm.
because it's such a great thing. But I think, um maybe we should all kind of like have in our, kind of our, I hate to go therapist on us, but like an understanding of what is triggering our dysregulation,
Mhm.
our nervous system burnout, what is causing that, how we experience those symptoms, and then like what we're going to do about it. And I think for a lot of people, this is where I see a lot of like really high functioning moms in my practice. And this
Mhm.
is where they like all the other stuff. They love it. And then I get to the spot where I'm like, okay, maybe what you should do is nothing. And it's
Oh,
like really tricky. I
you have that blank stare,
yeah, they're
them
like, "What do
looking at
you
you.
mean nothing?" I'm like, "Maybe
Nothing.
you should go upstairs for 5 minutes
Mhm.
and lay down,"
Well, I
you
think
know?
rest takes practice for
It
us
does
high
take practice.
energy people,
Mhm.
it's not easy, and so when you get that deer in a headlight look from somebody, it's,
Mhm.
"Okay, well, just practice.
Yeah,
Practice
well, like,
for
what is
5
what and
minutes."
even, like, what Jennifer's talking about, like, rest to her, I don't wanna go work,
Mhm.
that's, like, to work, that's not rest to me. Like, rest to
Mhm.
me is, like, sunshine, back porch, good book, or, like, good music, dancing, like, we
Mhm.
all are but we have to like you're saying, Mom, we have to figure out, like, what it is.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
true. You
how
know what?
many of us are even, like, given the tools to, like and the freedom to, like, really understand? Like, I'm really aware that I had a gift the past year where I was able to, like, really figure out, like, what that meant for me to, like, calm down. But I think a lot of people, like, we don't always get that. So maybe it's even in, like, small moments that you're figuring out, like, what does rest look like?
I was reading over the past week as we knew we were going to talk about this, and I wanted to make sure I was prepared. And one of the things I came across was to above all else guard your heart.
Mm.
And I think too that this goes beyond just like your heart, right? I think it also includes your thoughts, your emotions, your nervous
Uh-huh.
system, and so knowing those things that trigger you is a part of guarding that heart, like knowing
Mhm.
when
Yeah.
you need to withdraw and
Yeah.
knowing when you need to establish boundaries, and
Mhm.
when you're at your max, what do you need to do? And so I think that's really important to mention,
Love
above
that.
all,
That's
guard your
right.
heart. Yeah,
That's right.
Love it. That's so smart, Jen.
That is good.
I am very wise.
You are so wise. You should report back to us what you plan to do to take care of yourself.
That's right.
It's really bad because sometimes, like, the we talked a little bit about, like, the mom guilt, like, the
Oh,
guilt
yeah.
of
Heck
doing,
yeah.
all those things. So, I will literally make sure that everyone else is preoccupied with something or, like, doing
Oh.
something before I go. I'll be like, "Okay, you good? You're on VR and you're doing that and you're doing," and then I'll be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go chill for, like, 15 minutes." It's real bad, but
Yeah. Sounds like a little
it's
control there.
probably controlling too, but I just wanna make sure everyone's okay
Right.
before I, like,
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
I hear you saying,
Control.
like, "Man, I
Yeah.
maybe put other people exponentially ahead of myself," especially since your kids are all big kids,
Yeah.
I know, and they're fine.
you
They're
know?
absolutely fine. I just
I know, but you love them and I think that's the heart of it is, like, our dysregulation often comes from a really good place. We're
Place of
trying.
love. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
totally.
All right. Well, if this episode really hit for you, don't forget to like and subscribe, share it with someone else. I think all moms probably need to hear this. All people probably need to hear this as well.
Mhm.
Great episode on nervous system regulation or deregulation or
Regulation.
regulation. Not deregulation,
We don't
just
want it
regulate,
deregulated.
just regulate.
We
So,
can do that just fine on our own.
That's right.
yeah.
I guess
So,
we could say, um, instead of saying mercury rising, we can start saying cortisol rising, right?
yeah,
Cortisol rising. Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just know that you are human and you are held
Mhm.
by the Almighty God.
Yes.
Um,
Amen.
and such a great thing to remember as we head into this, I guess, finish off the rest of this week. And that you are human. You are not
Mhm.
perfect. And God knows that. And He knows our human limits and He loves us anyways.
That's right.
So,
Mm.
all right. Well, keep going, keep breathing. And remember, honey, that's grace. Bye, guys.
Your support means so much. Like, comment, share, and subscribe so we can keep growing this community together.
Honey That's Grace is for informational purposes only and is not professional therapy, legal, or medical advice. Please consult a qualified professional for guidance specific to your situation. The hosts are not liable for any decisions you make based on this content.